Gunga Din. You may talk of gin and beer when you're quartered safe out here, and you're sent to penny fights and all to shot it. But when it comes to slaughter, you will do your work on water, and you'll lick the blooming boots of him that's got it. Now in India's sunny clime, where I used to spend my time a serving of Her Majesty the Queen, of all them black-faced crew, the finest man I knew was our regimental beastie, Gunga Din. He was din, 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 you limping lump of brick dust, Gunga Din. Oi, slippery as a rail. Water, get it, parley lao, you squidgy-nosed old idol, Gunga Din. The uniform he wore was nothing much before, and rather less than half of that behind. For a piece of twisted rag and a goatskin water bag was all the field equipment he could find. When the sweating troop train lay in a siding through the day, where the heat would make your blooming eyebrows crawl, we shouted, "Hurry by!" till our throats were bricky dry. Then we whopped him 'cause he couldn't serve us all. It was din, 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 you heathen, where the mischief have you been? You put some jaldy in it, or I'll marry you this minute, if you don't fill up my helmet, Gunga Din. He would dot and carry one till the longest day were done, and he didn't seem to know the use of fear. If we charged or broke or cut, you could bet your blooming nut he'd be waiting 50 paces right flank rear. With his musket on his back, he would skip up with our attack and watch us till the bugles made retire. And for all his dirty hide, he was white, clear white inside. When he went to tend the wounded under fire, it was din, 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 with the bullets kicking dust spots on the green. When the cartridges ran out, you could hear the front file shout, "Aye, ammunition mules and Gunga Din." I shan't forget the night when I dropped behind the fight, with a bullet where my belt plate should have been. I was choking mad with thirst, and the man that spied me first was our good old grinning, grunting Gunga Din. He lifted up my head and he plugged me where I bled, and he gave me half a pint of water green. It was crawling and it stunk, but of all the drinks I've drunk, I'm gratefulest to one from Gunga Din. It was din, din, din. Here's a beggar with a bullet through his spleen. He's chawing up the ground and he's kicking all around. For God's sake, get the water, Gunga Din. He carried me away to where a dooley lay, and a bullet came and drilled the beggar clean. He put me safe inside, and just before he died, "I hope you liked your drink," said Gunga Din. So I'll meet him later on at the place where he is gone, where it's always double drill and no canteen. He'll be squatting on the coals giving drink to poor damned souls, and I'll get a swig in hell from Gunga Din. Yes, din, din, din. You Lazarusian leather Gunga Din, though I've belted you and flayed you by the living God that made you, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din.
It was not part of their blood. It came to them very late, with long arrears to make good, when the English began to hate. They were not easily moved, they were icy willing to wait, till every count should be proved, ere the English began to hate. Their voices were even and low, their eyes were level and straight. There was neither sign nor show when the English began to hate. It was not preached to the crowd, it was not taught by the state. No man spoke it aloud when the English began to hate. It was not suddenly bred, it will not swiftly abate. Through the chill years ahead, when time shall count from the date that the English began to hate.
If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowances for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet, don't look too good, nor look too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can hear the truth you've spoken twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life for broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools, if you can make one heap of all your winnings and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at the beginning, and never breathe a word about your loss, if you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are done, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 40 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son.
The stranger within my gate, he may be true or kind, but he does not talk my talk. I cannot feel his mind. I see the face, the eyes, and the mouth, but not the soul behind. The men of my own stock, they may do ill or well, but they tell the lies I am wanted to. They are used to the lies I tell, and we do not need interpreters when we go to buy or sell. The stranger within my gates, he may be good or evil, but I cannot tell what powers control, what reasons sway his mood, nor when the gods of his far-off land shall repossess his blood. The men of my own stock, bitter bad they may be, but at least they hear the things I hear, and see the things I see, and whatever I think of them and their likes, they think of the likes of me. This was my father's belief, and this is also mine. Let the corn be all one sheaf, and all the grapes be all one vine, ere our children's teeth are set on edge by bitter bread and wine.
Have you news of my boy Jack? Not this tide. When do you think that he'll come back? Not with this wind blowing and this tide. Has anyone else had word of him? Not this tide. For what is sunk will hardly swim, not with this wind blowing and this tide. Oh dear, what comfort can I find? None this tide, nor any tide, except he did not shame his kind, not even with that wind blowing and that tide. Then hold your head up all the more, this tide and every tide, because he was the son you bore, and gave to that wind blowing and that tide.